The following program contains scenes and language of a frank and explicit nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Filmjitsu, the podcast that wields films like deadly weapons. We are your hosts. I am Mike.
And I am Jay.
On this week's episode of Filmjitsu, it is summer school. Steven Summer's school. As Jay got to watch the 1998 monster movie spectacular Deep Rising, starring Treat Williams and Famke Janssen, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
We're also going to do our bottom 5 accidental porn titles because Deep Rising. We're going to play a little Dueling Double Bill before Jason gets to tell me what film I have to watch as payback, thanks, tribute for the gift that was Deep Rising. But before all that, let's go ahead and roll the trailer.
Welcome to the greatest pleasure ship ever built. Good times forever!
I have something here, sir.
I've never seen anything like this.
It's a malfunction, sir.
That's impossible. Where are they coming from?
I don't know, sir, but whatever it is, it's, big.
They answered a distress call.
Where the hell is everybody?
Now,
What the hell was that?
they're dead in the water.
What the hell is that?
The girl from Ipanema.
Deep Rising.
Jay, I did something this week that I've never done on the show before.
Yep.
Not once in the history of this show have I given a movie out of the kindness of my heart. And yet here in the thick of summer and hot off the heels of a wonderful time hanging out with you, I wanted to do something kind for my dear friend Jason. And I couldn't think of anything more fun and more appropriate than asking you to sit down and watch Steven Summer's Deep Rising.
Yeah.
A monster movie, a hijack movie, a Famke Janssen learning to act movie.
Oh.
It's all here. I love it. I know you love it even more. You might be the number one fan of this film. So
I think
it's going to be a tricky conversation here because we don't usually do this on our show.
No.
But damn it, sir, it's the summertime. Tell us about your experience rewatching Deep Rising.
Yeah, I really do adore this movie, as you say. I find it terrifically funny. It's frequently very, very gross and and laughably violent. But it at its core is pure pulp cinema. It's the kind of movie that feels more genuinely B-movie than either of the Rodriguez and Tarantino Grindhouse movies.
For sure.
Even with all their faux film scratches and celluloid burns and jump cuts, they never truly capture the feel of what a B-movie is, because a B-movie, the key to it, as we've learned from watching so many of them, Mike, things like The Room, things like Jaws 4, all of these films, they're made in earnest. And what's so great about Deep Rising is not only is it made in earnest, but it's made by a guy who absolutely loves B-movies, and that's Steven Sommers. Steven Sommers was put on this planet to celebrate B-movies, and his particular brand of whiskey, to quote a phrase from you, is to make movies that are stupid yet entertaining and very self-aware.
Yep.
Deep Rising is exactly that.
He also made Tom and Huck. I don't know what to tell you about that. I'm not sure where that fits into your
I think he was forming
theory.
his sensibilities You know, I mean, I'm talking about the Mummy. I'm talking about Van Helsing, you know, that guy. I'm not talking about his early career. People break into the industry doing what they have to do, Mike. And sometimes that's making movies about Tom Sawyer. Not one, but 2 movies about Tom Sawyer. I think that Deep Rising is genuinely in love with campy monster movie action. And it brings along with it a host of very fun, well-cast characters.
Oh, this cast is wild. It is so good.
So great.
And
right.
I forgot just what like an absolute cornucopia of that guys this cast
so
is.
True. Wes Studi shows up. Kevin O'Connor. You know, it's a great cast. I think that the strength of it is really, truly Treat Williams at its center, which is insane to say because he's such a bland leading man in so many ways. He was one of those guys that was up and coming in the late 70s, early 80s, around the time that Pacino and De Niro started really finding their traction.
Right.
But he kind of partied too much and went down the cocaine road and ended up kind of blowing his career to some extent. The thing is, the guy has a sense of humor because I think back, the one movie that I always think about with Treat Williams is Dead Heat.
Yeah.
I think from 1985, starring him and Joe Piscopo. His character in that movie is a guy named Roger Mortis because he dies.
Yep. It's wildly bad and unbelievably fun.
Yes, exactly. But that speaks to why I think Treat Williams is in this movie. He knew what he was getting into. I think it's important to mention that Harrison Ford was originally considered for this role and was written into the script and budgeted around his appearance in the film.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that too, because for me, like Treat Williams is always either a poor man's Harrison Ford or a poor man's Michael Douglas, depending on the movie.
Right.
If you can't get one of those guys, you get Treat Williams. But the cool thing is he seems to know that. And rather than be self-conscious about it, he just kind of dives into that fact. And he's like, well, you couldn't get Harrison Ford, so you can get this like off-brand version of Harrison Ford that can be a little bit more, doesn't have a reputation to protect.
No,
so he can be a little bit more free to be campy, to be big, to be unhinged, to be Treat Williams instead of notable Hollywood superstar Treat Williams.
He's not taking it seriously.
Fun.
But what's funny is this guy's a Broadway actor. Like this guy has the real deal chops that make an actor, right? But when he does these movies, he brings that smartness, that intelligence to foolishness, and it makes it work. He carries this cast really well, leads it. I think it's probably important to just quickly summarize what the film is about.
Yep, please do.
So the basic gist of this thing is that Treat Williams is a captain that makes some very questionable runs across the South Asian Pacific, bringing kind of villainous type characters to wherever they need to go. And in this case, he's bringing people to a job that they're going to pull on a huge, ridiculously huge luxury liner that they're going to rob. And so he goes ahead and he gets in way over his head, immediately realizes it. These guys are mercenaries. They're, Wes Studi's one of them. So, you're in deep shit, right? And then what happens is when they get on board the ship, they realize that everyone there is dead just about. And there's no real sign of everybody, but there's blood all over the place and stuff. And they come to find out that the ship has been attacked by a giant tentacle monster that then attacks the mercenaries and Treat Williams and his crew. And then, of course, we have Femke Janssen, who is like a thief that gets locked up in the brig. And as a result, is saved because she's not one of the many, many other people on the ship that got murdered by the tentacle monster.
It was almost as if the ship had struck a reef or something. It came to a sudden, violent stop. And then suddenly they were everywhere. The passengers all panicked.
It all happened so fast, there was no time to do anything.
Couldn't even use the lifeboats.
Trouble is, gentlemen, nobody knows we're in trouble. Couldn't send an SOS.
Well, then, mon capitaine, I think the first order of business should be a call for help. Then don't you?
Yeah, man, call in the Marines.
Yeah, let's do it now.
I think it's important for me to explain that when I saw this movie, I went in thoroughly blind. It was back in 1998, and it was for a preview screening that happened in Boston with comment cards.
Oh,
and they
wow.
tried to bribe you by giving you a shirt.
Uh-huh.
I don't really have a memory of why. I used to work for THX. I used to grade cinemas on their presentation and their sound. And yes, I actually got checks from Lucasfilm.
Nice.
Which was like the coolest thing in the world. Yoda was on it. It was very cool. I somehow never made a copy of one of those checks.
Oh, no.
I know. Really stupid mistake. But I think it may have been linked to that I got to see Deep Rising ahead of time because ILM played such a heavy hand in this movie.
Right.
I went ahead and saw the film completely unawares of what it was going to be about. I saw Treat Williams' name at the beginning of the film, and I'm like, oh, what is this going to be? I don't think I've ever seen a movie where I was more surprised by how much I loved it. So anytime I rewatch it, I sort of relive that excitement of what the hell is going on with this movie,
right.
you know? The way that people die, the kills are insane. Some of them are incredibly gory.
So gruesome.
And the effects by practical effects
Right.
wizard Rob Bottin, you know, the guy that did The Thing from 1982 and Total Recall, Paul Verhoeven's movie. But Bottin's special effects that combine so well with the CG that's provided by ILM and DreamQuest Images, like these were like the effects houses of the day. And while we may be a little bit cynical about CG now, I really like the way it's employed in this film. I think that largely it's done pretty well. I mean, this is 1998 we're talking about. It's still kind of in its infancy. I will say that it's important to mention that director Stephen Sommers actually is the subject of an ILM scale that rates how hard the shoot is going to be to work on. And they've got this score with 4 parts to it, okay? From lowest to highest, it's what the shot needs, what the computers can handle, oh my God, the computers are about to crash, and then finally, what Steven wants. So Sommers has a really good relationship with ILM, and I don't think that that's surprising given Deep Rising and its special effects, given The Mummy 2, and Van Helsing, which, you know, they're maybe not so great from a special effects standpoint. But again, the man loves B movies, right? So here we go.
Well, what do you know? Sign of life with curves.
Excuse me, but this area is for authorized personnel only. As the assistant to the purser, I'm afraid I'll have to report you.
Where are the other passengers?
I don't know, sleeping?
You sort of poked fun at Femke Janssen, and I think that's a bit unfair. I really like her in this movie. I think she's a lot of fun.
Do not confuse my words here. She is a lot of fun. She knows exactly what the movie's about.
That's right.
She's playing exactly the right kind of character. She's never been a great actress to begin with. So there's not a lot to work with there, but she was, I think, well cast for what the movie wanted it to be. She also might have been like at peak Smoke Show in 1998 as well. So that wasn't a bad part of this film by any means.
This is pre-Jean Grey, right? Like this is pre her turn in the X-Men movies. So good on her, you know, that's a pretty fun thing to do. I thought it was cool that Jimon Hansu was in this as well. I love seeing him in flicks. Like, you know, you saw him in Guardians of the Galaxy. He basically plays the same part in that as he does here. Anthony Held is the guy that plays the luxury liner designer.
Yeah,
he's
Dr. Chilton himself.
Man.
As much as I'm looking forward to our bottom 5 conversation for this movie, I feel like I kind of got it wrong because I have been toying with a bottom 5 character actor situation list that will come up at some point. It is the character actors and that guys in this movie that make it for me because every scene, it's like Clifton Powell shows up. And like Clifton Powell is my favorite, like mid 90s aggressive asshole in a movie, no matter what. Like, he's always just pissed and angry about everything.
Are we talking some kind of mutated sea monsters here?
Who gives a shit what they are? Just tell us how to kill these motherfuckers.
I think because Treat Williams and Famke Janssen, let's say maybe their star doesn't shine super bright.
Mm-hmm.
I think it kind of levels up
it does.
the character actors around them.
It
and
really
so that
does.
nobody seems like they're at a much lower tier than the leads. And so in a way, it feels almost like you have this huge ensemble cast of like your favorite B movie actors.
Yeah.
And I think that's a real big part of the success of the film.
It is, because you don't know what's going to happen to any of them. If they're all on the same playing field, if Harrison Ford's in this movie, you know that Harrison Ford is going to live to the end credits.
Right.
There were many times where I thought Treat Williams was going to die in this film. Like, genuinely, I was like, they're going to pull a fast one and they are going to kill this guy.
Like when he rode a jet ski through the hallways of a sinking cruise liner, like that.
That's so great. But we haven't even really truly mentioned, I think I mentioned him in passing, and I think that the key player, if Treat Williams is anchoring this cast, there's one actor in this movie who is key, and that's Kevin J. O'Connor.
Mm-hmm.
His timing in every scene is perfection. He defines the term comedic relief.
Mm-hmm.
He's Captain Finnegan's second in command, so Treat Williams' second in command, Joey Pantucci. He's constantly whining, but he's hilarious. He's the mechanic. And though Jansen, Williams, and Wes Studi, they all managed to earn some laughs on their own, Summers' screenplay finds the humor most with this character. Interestingly, the character was so popular with test audiences that the original outcome for that character was to die. And in fact, I mean, he does die in the movie.
Sure.
There's no way that guy's living, right? Somehow at the end, he washes up on shore with Treat Williams and Famke Janssen, makes the perfect ending, truly, to the film.
I think audiences who don't obsess over character actors the way that maybe you and I do probably know this guy best as Benny from the Mummy films.
Yeah, right, exactly. Most people
where
would,
he again plays the comedic relief.
Right.
And he's in so many of these. He's in Van Helsing. I think everything Stephen Sommers has pretty much ever done. It might be that this guy is his muse, and thank goodness for that.
I find it interesting that he sort of vacillates between Stephen Sommers movies and Paul Thomas Anderson movies, because he's in like There Will Be Blood and The Master as well.
He is, yeah.
But he's also in, the poor man. You know how we were talking in our last episode about careers in film and how the well's kind of drying up for folks, so they're just taking whatever paycheck they can get, which leads to things like Left Behind, etc. Well, I saw a film called Exorcism at 60,000 Feet.
Oh, wow.
Which also features Adrian Barbeau, Bei Ling, and fucking Lance Henriksen. But man, Kevin J. O'Connor's in it as well as a pilot. It's like, oh, what are you doing?
Here's something that will surprise me. Adrian Barbeau, still alive.
Yeah.
And making movies. Treat Williams, not still alive.
Really sad.
It wasn't until just before we sat down to record that I remembered that Treat Williams is no longer alive.
He passed away, I think it was at age 71 in a motorcycle accident. It was a really sad thing. So, yeah, we lost Treat before he was able to do any of those really old man kind of roles.
I know. Can you imagine how great he would have been?
He would have been great. He's one of those guys that would have turned up on the Oscars later, in life. Like somebody would have doled out a really good part for him, and he could have pulled
kind
it
of
off.
in the way that Don Johnson is having this late career resurgence, where like people like Ryan Johnson have figured out how to take Don Johnson
Tarantino
and make him into something. That would have happened with Treat Williams.
I agree with you. Yeah. I think he was like a low-level luminary that had the chance to shine bright, didn't, but would have had a second chance had he lived. And if we're talking about luminaries, I think that probably the biggest star of this movie is composer Jerry Goldsmith. The fact that the guy that wrote the score to the original Alien, The Omen, Poltergeist, Gremlins, Star Trek the Motion Picture.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit. What does he do for this movie? A great fucking music score. That's wonderful.
Goldsmith wouldn't know how to make a bad score if you paid him to do it. I don't think he could.
It's true, but he would recycle themes just like Alan Silvestri did, just like Michael Kamen did, Horner. But the fascinating thing I think about Goldsmith is he would all of a sudden just punch out of that rut and come up with something completely different. And that's what Deep Rising sounds like. It's got this bouncy, brassy, audacious score and is pure action adventure by way of like bossa nova.
Well, I think, Jay, that this leads me to a part of the conversation I really wanted to have around this movie, which is that the thing we haven't talked about before in our Bad Movie podcast is our deep, deep love and appreciation for bad movies. Like the fun thing about a bad movie is that there's something kind of undeniably joyful talking about misguided, unintentionally hilarious special effects disasters, bad line readings, things like The Room and Troll 2. And they develop these passionate cult followings sometimes in the case of some of those other movies. But sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're just these little tucked away maniacs like Deep Rising. And the fun thing about them is that when they don't take themselves seriously or when everything goes wrong, it creates this unique space for like laughter and surprise. Like what is going to happen next?
Right.
And when you've seen so many bad movies, to still be surprised by how bad a movie can be or like what a left turn something is or a choice that was not only made but filmed and distributed blows your mind. There's an ambition to a bad movie that when you get that perfect storm, right, of like sincerity and ineptitude and a good time as an audience member and all of those things come together, it's kind of a magic that you can't create on purpose.
Right.
And I think you nailed it kind of at the top, which is that something like Tarantino trying to do Grindhouse, trying to create it, that's a fun experiment, but it's never authentic the way that something like Deep Rising is just
really
like
is
so outrageously authentically itself. And I will make time for that all day long.
People probably think that we're cynical or that we punch down, that we're making fun. And maybe sometimes we're cajoling, we're ribbing like we would a good friend. Okay.
Like
but the truth of the matter is, but the truth of the matter is they're all a freaking blast. Sometimes you have to shut off your damn brain and have a great time with some creative spin from filmmakers that will bring something new, fresh, and really weird to the proceedings.
Yeah,
and
it reminds us, I think, that films are a playground, right? And that that not every swing has to be a home run.
No.
It's actually okay to just enjoy the game.
For sure.
More than anything else, Jay, what I hope all of these films give for people is the experiences that you and I have, because the moments that I honestly treasure in my life and in our friendship are sitting on opposite sides of your couch, just laughing our heads off. And you don't get that with good films, not in the same way, right? We could sit down and watch the best of the best. But for those really like, hey, do you remember that time experiences? Look no further than something like Deep Rising. And that's why I will go to my grave watching this stuff. I want tentacle monsters. I want exploding cruise ships. And I want it until I take my last breath. And with any luck, you're going to be sitting right there when I take it. So as that last gasp comes out and my eyes finally close, I can just flip you the bird as I keel over on the couch. That's all I want.
But the key there will be that it'll be the end credits rolling for the Shining miniseries that I just forced you to watch.
You said that'll do it. That'll do it. Merrigan out.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Jason, even though I feel like perhaps we identified an even better bottom 5 for this film, I am really, really excited to talk about our bottom 5 accidental porn titles. It's going to be a fun one because this is exactly the kind of idiotic nonsense that I live for. And sir, I know that we are more than ready for this. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your thought process here.
Well, my thought process is you just picked the perfect bottom 5. I don't care about the that guy thing. We could do that for a million other movies. But this, Deep Rising, is so perfect because, as I mentioned earlier, I went to a preview screening where they handed out shirts that said Deep Rising on them in the font from the film. And that's on the back, it had the life preserver with a bite taken out of it. Right. But on the front, just the words Deep Rising. And early on, when I was making films, we did these improvisational short films and whatnot. And one of them, my friend was wearing his Deep Rising shirt when we made it. And at one point he saw a really cute girl or something like that. And he just took the 2 thumbs and pointed at Deep Rising and kind of went like that, right? Just like a little nod. Okay. To me, that is all that we needed to intro our bottom 5 accidental porn titles. So I'm very curious to know what your number 5 is.
My good man, I have done my homework here because for years I've kept a spreadsheet with my entire movie collection on it. Currently that sits at 2,890 titles. And I'll be honest, apart from making sure that I don't buy duplicates, I wasn't really sure what this spreadsheet was for until now. I have gone through the entire thing and selected 5 accidental porn titles that are my favorite.
All right.
Now, there's the bottom 5 issue again, right? And I would argue that if your title is easily confused with pornography, that's a bottom 5 situation all by itself. In other words, it's those that got it oh so wrong that got it oh so right.
Oh so right. Yeah.
There is also a little bit of kismet here because Deep Rising stars Treat Williams. Do you know what Treat Williams' whole name is?
No.
Richard Treat Williams.
Oh no.
The man's name was Dick Treat. Are you kidding me right now?
No.
So how could we have done anything other than this? My number 5, we have a text thread going, some friends of ours, right? Where we've sort of created this fictional marketing agency where you can hire us to make sure that your slogan or your logo or your vanity license plate or your movie title can't be easily mocked by immature perverts. Like, for example, the more you play with it, the harder it gets, which was how Nintendo advertised the DS in Europe. Or Taste the Rainbow. I think they were asking for trouble there, that kind of thing. And so I feel like my number 5 is a title that certainly could have benefited from the services of this text thread, because despite being a great film, nobody should name a movie Winter's Bone and not expect some kind of trouble. My number 5 is, yes, Jennifer Lawrence's big debut, Winter's Bone. There's no way to say it and not laugh about it.
It's not that kind of debut, Mom. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how does she, when she came home and said, "Oh, I got the lead role in Winter's Bone," like Mr. and Mrs. Lawrence must have been like, "Oh no, like,
we never should have let her get on the bus."
Yeah, right, exactly.
And it's probably the kind of thing that like somebody in the family still hasn't seen everything else and is like, I don't know, Jennifer did that Winter's Bone thing, and we haven't really checked out anything after that.
Mike Satterfield, A1 Bonds.
What is it you want?
We hold the bond on Jessup Dolly. He didn't show for court.
That ain't no run.
Jessup signed over everything. If he doesn't show at trial, see, the way the deal works is you all gonna lose this house here. You got someplace to go?
I'll find him.
Girl, I've been looking.
I said I'll find him. There's stuff that you're gonna have to get over being scared of.
Get off! Don't hurt my sister! Get in the house!
You was warned, and you wouldn't listen.
I love the movie, and I think for me too, there's something a little bit paradoxical about like how bleak and serious that story is versus the chuckle that happens every time the Winter's Bone comes up at the beginning. So
we are on that same wavelength, and you'll find out soon enough what I'm talking about. But at my number 5, I went with, just think about this title, okay? Adventures in Babysitting.
Oh no.
And again, it's Chris Columbus. It's his film debut. So last episode, we had a twofer of Chris Columbus with Pixels and Home Alone for our bottom 5 bullies. Now we've got Adventures in Babysitting. Chris Columbus, what's going on with you right now? This is a film from 1987. It's super adored by folks. It stars a very young Elizabeth Shue, who I'll get back to in a minute, along with Vincent D'Onofrio, Penelope Ann Miller, George Newbern, and Bradley Whitford. This is a wackadoodle adventure comedy. It finds a babysitter navigating the mean streets of Chicago while trying to find a distressed friend at the same time as she tries to keep her eye on a gaggle of suburban brats. It's a fun movie, but that title, 100% porn fodder. And all the ingredients are present in the film. Hot babysitter, a tow truck driver named Handsome John Pruitt, a club where the babysitter has to perform before she is allowed to leave, the gang stumbling across a fraternity house party. One of the kids strikes up a friendship with a prostitute. Come on. This thing writes itself. That said, the real reason I chose this was because of a comment I read on the Ain't It Cool message board over 20 years ago.
Whoa.
Written by one person named Jerky McJerk, who explained...
You remember that? Did you go and find it again?
No, I just remember it.
This is occupying brain cells that you have.
This lives rent-free in my brain forever because his comment was, I'd love to give Elizabeth Shue the old dog in the bathtub trick. I don't know what that is. I don't know. But it definitely sounds like it would be fun and be in a movie called Adventures in Babysitting.
I love that we live in a world where Jerky McJerk is out there somewhere. I also love that one day you're going to be standing in front of the ATM and you're going to have no idea what your PIN is and just completely locked out of your finances. But inside your brain is going to be Jerky McJerk. You are so much better at this than me. I just found titles that made me giggle. You have like a whole personal history with your choice. Of course you do. Of course you do.
Oh, boy.
I should have known that anything that was just inviting you to be a pervert was going to be something you excelled at.
You should have known.
My number 4. I wanted to go back to one of my earliest memories about giggling at a film title.
Okay.
It was funny when I was a kid. It might be even funnier now. It's the first movie I remember like chuckling because I knew something was up, even though I didn't quite get why when I was a kid. And that really speaks to what's so funny about 1971's Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
What do you suggest? Well, it needs rhythm, tempo, music. As I always say, do it with a flair. Do you mind if I have a go?
Oh, of course not.
Now come along, you lot. We need all the help we can get. Traguna, Macoides, Tracorum Satis D. Traguna, Macoides, Tracorum Satis D.
Drugs, airy locomotion, mystic power that's far beyond the wildest notion. It's so weird, so weird, yet wonderful to see. Substitutionary locomotion come to me.
It could be the Angela Lansbury-ness of the whole thing, but probably not when I was a kid.
No.
It's like, it's not overtly dirty. It's a little bit of a thinker. It sounds dirtier than it actually is.
Right, exactly.
But you can conjure images of Bedknobs and Broomsticks, and
it's so 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, and whether I'm 14 or 44, that's just funny to me. So Bed knobs and broomsticks.
My
That's
God.
my number
There's
4.
going to be so much Disney on this list because at my number 4, 1976's Freaky Friday. Come on. What's more porn than a movie called Freaky Friday?
Maybe Freakier Friday, which is a thing that now exists.
Now exists, yeah. Now it's a 3-way instead of a 2-way. That's freakier. I'm not even kidding. That's the.
Oh no.
Anyway, we not only got a title that could go as is onto a CD XXX marquee, but we've also got a fully baked porno concept. A mother and daughter switch bodies and hijinks ensue. I'm not going to lie, while the newer cast of 19-year-old Lindsay Lohan swapping bodies with early 2000s Jamie Lee Curtis sounds custom written for my pervy ass, I had to go with the older title because there's something sort of hot about a buttoned up Barbara Harris type getting all cozy with her daughter's high school crush. But the real reason I chose the 1976 version of this flick is due to its director, Gary Nelson. And I want you to remember that name because it's going to be important in a few more minutes. All right.
Okay.
So you go ahead.
All right.
My number 4, Freaky Friday, 1976. You go.
My number 3 is a title that is so obviously an accidental porn title, but I really genuinely don't think they realized it, even though this is as maybe on the nose as it can possibly get.
Really?
See, it's a horror film, and I think they were so focused on the horror of the film that they didn't stop to listen. Because my title here is The Midnight Meat Train.
Oh, yeah.
What?
God, you are so right.
What?
What a terrible movie, too. Oh.
An awful movie. An awful movie
Awful.
based on a Clive Barker.
Yeah.
And the idea is it's this train, and there's a guy with, I think he's got a giant hammer or something.
He got a
and
meat
it's
tenderizer that he beats people with.
Right. And so it's the midnight meat train. And I think we're all caught up in like the viscera of what that's about.
Exactly.
How do you not absolutely just hear that a completely different way? So,
oh man, that's such a good pick.
It's the kind of movie that you couldn't just leave it out on the counter without explaining to a loved one that it was not pornography.
Like if it was the old days, right? Where it was a VHS that was in one of those black covers that just had the title printed on it with no artwork. And it just said The Midnight Meat Train on it.
Right. Yeah.
You know you're going to get your ass paddled by your parents for bringing that into the house.
You're in a lot of trouble for that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. God, that's great. Well, remember that name that I asked you to remember? The director of Freaky Friday?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Gary Nelson. Somehow also directed my number 3 on my list. And while it may be Disney's answer to Star Wars and Star Trek, The Black Hole is an impeccably naughty title for a movie. And the film itself is only slightly less inappropriate for its intended children's audience than an adult film with the same name, given it is a gothic space opera filled with scientific and philosophical pontification and terrifying robot-human hybrids revealed to have no eyes when their masks are removed. Plus, it stars Anthony Perkins and Ernest Borgnine. What screams, "This one's for you, kids," more than Norman Bates and the title character from McHale's Navy? I'll leave you with this line from the movie, which, when taken out of context, could mean so many things.
I will travel where no man has dared to go.
Into the black hole?
In, through, and beyond.
The other amazing thing about that is that this film potentially could lead to a world in which you get like the classic trailer guy being like, "This summer, Ernest Borgnine's Black Hole." You probably owe Gary Nelson a fruit basket or something, I think.
I probably do. So
just
true.
as a thank you for years of his service.
Oh.
My number 2, Jason, is one I'm not especially proud of, but also I'm like, really proud of it. Beasts of the Southern Wild. I've done something wrong.
You got these art house porn titles going.
But Beasts of the Southern Wild. First off, from now on, I'm referring to anything below my belt line as the Southern Wild, right? I am a child. That's what the real problem here is.
I love it.
It's a magical movie of a film.
Yeah.
Honestly, if my stupidity here does anything, I actually would love it for people to go and
see this movie.
Watch
It's excellent.
Ben Zeitlin's Beasts of the Southern Wild. It's a beautiful, wonderful film. But if you're like me and you're essentially just like perpetually 12, yeah, you're going to laugh at Beasts of the Southern Wild every time.
I wanted to make sure that we had some very current representation. So look no further than 2024's Dirty Angels. So not to be confused with Angels with Dirty Faces or the Home Alone spoof Angels with Filthy Souls. Keep the change, you filthy animal. I felt like I was just going too far back and I needed something newer. So here we go. This flick comes from action director Martin Campbell, who's best known for his two Bond outings, GoldenEye and Casino Royale.
Right.
Well, last year he released this film that 100% didn't have to be about a mostly female special ops unit that poses as medics to save a group of teenage hostages from ISIS. That said, if it was about something else, and I'll let your mind do the imagining here, because the title Dirty Angels leaves a lot to the imagination, I would argue that you should retain at least part of the cast of the real movie. Eva Green, Maria Bakalova, Ruby Rose. Yes, please. It's a title sent straight from porn heaven.
Whoa. I'm sorry. We're
Porn
not just
heaven.
cruising. We're not cruising past porn heaven. I think you need to explain more about porn heaven. You know what? Don't. It actually sounds nauseating.
No, you don't want to know.
Well, sir,
Yes.
for my number one, I was 12 years old when the movie Free Willy came out. What do you people want from me?
Oh my God. That was on my short list for sure.
I'm sorry. It was what? You can't. What did you just do?
It was totally on my short list.
You heard that, everybody, on this podcast where we record it and then decide to send it out. Jason's Free Willy is on his short list.
Yes.
They made sequels too, I'm pretty sure. I didn't look them up, but I'm sure they're equally as funny.
Imagine if the world you lived in, the space you breathed in, and the freedom you played in was suddenly taken away. Imagine if the only person who knew how you felt was a boy who felt it too.
You really like him, huh? Yeah.
Warner Brothers proudly presents
Where's Free Willy? He's got family out there. I heard him.
Free Willy.
Well, my number one is Come and See, which is the single most harrowing war film ever made. Or is it a porno?
Who's to say?
This should be a funny title. But 1985's Come and See is considered a searing indictment of fascism that was at one point mandatory viewing for those in East Germany. It's a film that unflinchingly tells a coming-of-age story set against the Russian military's stand against the Nazis during World War II. It's filled with horrifying imagery and events all seen and experienced by young Floria, whose youthful face grows more and more haggard as the film wears on. Getting its title from the Book of Revelations in reference to bearing witness to the horror brought to the world by the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Son of a... Who out there in Filmjitsu land had the Book of Revelations in their accidental porn titles bingo card?
Go.
Anybody?
There you go.
You just busted everybody's bracket right there. Way to go, sir. Only here. on this program.
I gotta say that Come and See should probably be required viewing for our current junior Nazi order of brain-dead red hat wearing lemmings who follow blindly the indecencies wrought by their dear leader. But no, more likely to be seen by our attention span deprived, history deficient, porn addled Christian warrior class is Come and See. A bland mess of bodies smashing, shot under hot lights on bad video with zero skill and even less intimacy. Porn can be beautiful. It can be fun. It can be exhilarating. But I wanted to end this list with a real bottom 5 title. A movie that should be seen and understood and not, more than likely, the thing that almost every American has seen way, way more of. The Book of Revelations may yet prove correct. Come and See, indeed. That is my number 1.
Well, that ended exactly the way that I thought it would, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. That's why I show up for this program, honestly. Good Lord, that was... why are you so much better at having a podcast than I am?
That was exactly what you did on our last episode with bullies. I just did it with...
Unbelievable. Oh, with porn titles. Well,
yeah, exactly.
You know what? I guess you got to know what you're good at, right?
Exactly.
Jason, perhaps this is our opportunity to move away from conversations about possible porn titles.
I don't know.
Maybe it's our opportunity to not. I don't know.
I'm not sure. It's hard to say.
But this is Dueling Double Bills, that part of the show where we program a double bill. We randomly generate a couple of film titles and then have to come up with titles to pair with them and see which one of us can come up with the double bill that is more interesting, more intriguing. It's almost always going to be you in my mind, but let's see what happens this time. Why don't we go ahead and roll with our first title?
Right. Let me go ahead and see what the generator has for us tonight. And our first accidentally filthy sounding movie is The Big Easy.
Okay.
From 1986. That would be that flick with Dennis Quaid and Ellen Barkin in it. It's set in, obviously, New Orleans, The Big Easy. So there we go. Definitely did have some sexiness to it, for sure. So you got to take that into account. I remember it being a very seductive film.
Correct.
There's a lot of like soft colors and stuff in it and exposed flesh. All right. And our next title will be... Sorry. The next one is Blown Away, 1994.
I love that film. Jeff Bridges, Tommy Lee Jones, and a really great villain turn. I love that film.
So it's going to be an interesting one. Our first film, The Big Easy. Our second film, Blown Away. What do we decide to do in this head-to-head horny Thunderdome that we found ourselves in?
Should I challenge myself to try to make sure that the double bill title is as equally dirty as the first one? Is that what it is?
No, I don't know.
I don't know.
It depends on how you want to do it.
I like the idea of that.
All right, that's one. And I don't know what to do with that.
I had my first one right away.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. That was Tommy Lee Jones in Blown Away. He had an Irish accent in it, didn't he? He played like an Irish... It wasn't Jeff Gold. It's all set in Boston.
It's all set in Boston.
Oh, shit. I totally missed an opportunity. Oh.
Yeah, and Tommy Lee Jones plays an Irish terrorist.
Right.
I believe that Lloyd Bridges is in the film as Jeff Bridges' father. I think he gets blown up by Tommy Lee Jones. I'm pretty sure.
Do you remember like when this happened in Boston when they were filming here and they blew out a bunch of windows and stuff that wasn't supposed to happen and got in lots of trouble with like the residents of the area and the police and stuff?
I do remember. Yeah.
Jeez,
I remember having the CD-ROM video game of this for our home desktop computer.
What?
It
My
was awesome.
God.
It was mostly just diffusing bombs and stuff.
All right. Let's get on to these dueling double bills. Mike, what did you pair with our first choice, The Big Easy?
I understood the assignment. I wasn't just going to find a title that pairs well with it, but also I wanted to stick with accidentally dirty titles to pair with it, even though that wasn't the point.
So did I.
It was just bonus credit. Good for me. The Big Easy. Okay, fine. Like you said, kind of that swampy, sexy bayou kind of thing. A little bit trashy, right?
Oh, big time. Yeah.
For me, I'm going to pair it with a title that is also a little bit dirty, definitely also trashy. John McNaughton's 1998 Wild Things.
Oh, nice.
Starring Nev Campbell, Denise Richards.
That's good. Kevin Bacon. Fully with the bacon hanging.
The whole deal.
The whole bacon.
And so that for me, I think is like the perfect kind of
bayou.
Yeah,
trashy.
you know.
Yeah, that's good. I think of The Big Easy not being quite as trashy as Wild Things. That's
okay.
You know, so it's almost like you're flipping a coin, right?
Yeah.
Wild Things 2 is, but well, I, as I always do, went with the naming more than anything, but I did keep it dirty. The Big Easy with The Harder They Come.
Jason Santo keeping it dirty. The harder they come.
Dirty.
Okay.
The harder they come. The easy, the hard.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. You know, the idea that you've got those.
We can. Something tells me we have extra time for extra outtakes this episode.
The episode's going to be an hour long, and then there's going to be 30 minutes of outtakes. Yeah. No, I just thought that, like, you've got this sort of saxophone laced, like, New Orleans vibe of The Big Easy set as a contrast against the reggae fueled kind of Jimmy Cliff stuff in The Harder They Come, right? So you got that clash, but then you've got the title synergy. I don't know. I loved it. Yours is more thematically correct, I will say.
I'm also concerned that yours might be too dirty in that
too dirty.
If somebody walked into the theater and those two titles were up on the board, they'd be like, "Oh, I don't think we came into the right theater."
We don't hang in the same crowds, my friend.
Maybe not.
I think it's going to attract many people. Maybe not the right kind of people, but definitely.
I guess I would like to think if we're assigning points here, that any film where Nev Campbell and Denise Richards make out is maybe the one that everybody should go see. We'll decide afterwards. How did you do with Blown Away?
I'm pretty proud of this one. I'm not going to lie.
Okay.
Blown away in eating Raoul.
Well, wait a second. I mean, other than the fact that the titles are funny to say together, what is the theme here?
There is no real theme. It's just a complete tonal clash.
You know what?
Thoroughly and completely.
Points to you for owning it. If you had just tried to bullshit me right there, no way.
Not even going to try.
I actually just respect the game here. Sometimes it is what it is. Well done, sir. I get it. Mine actually, I wanted to have an equally dirty title, but it makes sense together. So along with Blown Away,
yes,
I went with Ron Howard's Backdraft.
Jesus Christ, those two movies easily get confused too.
Yeah,
that's good.
There's just enough
they're
there.
so same. Like let's think of that for a second. They're very similar, right?
Yes. I wouldn't have done this if I was not trying to also be dirty. What I would have done, honestly, I would have paired Blown Away with Arlington Road, the other Jeff Bridges movie.
That would have been good. Yeah.
Where he's accused of being a terrorist.
Right.
In that one. And it's a great thriller.
It's
really.
Yeah. You just reminded me that I would love to see that again.
It's a really good, I think, criminally underseen flick.
And you've got the Boston tie-in because Blown Away set in Boston. Arlington is a suburb of Boston.
That would have been my pick if I didn't, one hand behind my back, insist that the pairing was also dirty. And so I went with Backdraft.
Backdraft and Blown Away really are great. They have the title synergy. I think the problem is that they're so similar, those two movies, that it would kind of be a snoozer a little bit.
Yep.
That said, they're good movies. They're both middle of the road, solid, little
Blown
cheese
Away
ball.
is campy in a way that a Ron Howard movie will never be.
Yes.
Blown Away actually is almost like,
I don't know.
It's a little campy for me.
Backdraft is unintentionally campy. If you watch it again, it hasn't aged particularly well.
Yeah.
So what did age very well in that film is Donald Sutherland's performance. Oh my God. What does he have? 2 scenes maybe? But he steals the whole goddamn thing.
That's Lloyd Bridges for me in Blown Away, playing Jeff Bridges' father in the movie as well. And he's this kind of great old Irish Boston guy. He's wonderful in the film and the scenes that he has too. So I totally get that.
How about this with my theme? Okay, let's go back to Blown Away and Eating Raoul, because I got one pitch for you.
Stop saying Eating Raoul.
What I was saying is so good. But in Blown Away, Tommy Lee Jones with his Irish accent chews the scenery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he sure does. Oh,
but in Eating Raoul, the lead characters kill swingers and then saute them and chew them. Mm-hmm. So there's the chewing of scenery and the chewing of the patrons. What do you say?
Yeah, I think I love the idea of each of those movies individually, and the titles really sing together. I don't know if I could go with it as a double bill itself.
All right, fine.
But I don't know. So how are we awarding points here then? I think we both had some successes and some failures.
Yeah, we had some. Maybe we just call this one a whole draw. We just call it a draw across the board.
You know what? When it comes to dirty film titles, there really are no losers. So I'm comfortable with that.
I'm pretty comfortable
this
with
one. We're just going to say was for the love of the game.
Yep. Well, Mike, right now in cinemas, the zeitgeist is James Gunn's Superman. I'm not sure if you went and saw it already or not. I did as well.
I did.
I quite enjoyed it. That's my capsule review. All right. It made me feel hopeful and happy for the first time watching a Superman movie, probably since Christopher Reeve donned the red underoos. But speaking of Christopher Reeve and speaking of Superman, I had to check the first run of the show to make sure that this film was never tackled, and indeed it never has been. So, Mike, for our next show, you're going to just live in the Superman zeitgeist with Superman 4, The Quest for Peace.
God damn. It was only a matter of time. I was afraid of this.
You hit me with Jaws 4. The only way to get back to you was with Superman 4. It was going to happen sooner or later. What better time than now to revisit what might be the worst Superman movie? I don't know. Is Batman v Superman worse? Probably. But we'll find out when Mike reviews Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, and we list off our bottom 5 superpowers. So movies where we've saw superpowers and they were, quote, super powers.
Okay.
Because they're pretty terrible. So I would love to know what your bottom 5 superpowers are. I would love to know what mine are too, because I have no idea. We'll find out next time when Mike reviews Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. Until then, we have been your hosts. I am Jay.
And I am Mike.
And we'll see you next time.
Stalno mislim na te, hoću znat sve kate, vježbat ću sate i sate. Karate, vježbat ću dok zadnji mi kjaj zostane izađe.
12 Angry Men.
Rear Window.
13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi.
What? Octopussy.
Ace in the Hole.
The Human Stain.
All the President's Men.
Howard's End.
An American Tale.
Old Yeller.
Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret.
Fast and Furious.
As good as it gets.
I'm out. I'm done.
I got it. The Beaver, The Big Short, Black Snake Moan, Cave of Forgotten Dreams, Clash of the Titans, Crimes and Misdemeanors, Crimson Peak, Dark Passage, Deep Impact, Ed Wood, Enter the Dragon, Enter the Void, A Few Good Men, Fist of Legend, Frankenweenie, Gates of Heaven, The Giver, Hard Rain, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Hot Fuzz, Hot Road, Hump Day, Inside Man, It Comes at Night, Kiss the Girls, The Lair of the White Worm, Lethal Weapon, Mixed Nuts, Naked Lunch, No Hard Feelings, Pacific Rim, Shaft, Shocker, Shooter, Something Wicked This Way Comes, Super Size Me, Taken, Tales from the Hood, Three Amigos, Velvet Goldmine, The Way, Way Back, and What Lies Beneath.
Solid. Nice.